Hey guys, it's Lindsay. Today I'm super excited for my first yoga video, hopefully one in a series. Today's video is a low and slow movement. It's a quickie because sometimes we just need to stay close to the ground. Maybe we're feeling kind of anxious, kind of up in our head, and being close to the ground can help us feel a bit more grounded and connected to the earth. So get into something that's comfortable, sweats, whatever. As my favorite yogi says, jump into something comfy and let's get started. So we're gonna move to the mat, and as you can see, we're in my office, just shifted some furniture around. You don't need a mat. You don't really need anything. It's probably better to do it on a carpet so you're not slipping around. But just get into something comfy and let's get started. So my teeny office, not super conducive to filming a yoga video, but we're gonna go with the flow. So the first thing we're gonna do is begin in child's pose. And this is a shape that you can come back to time and time again when you just need a moment to kind of pull within. And it helps you to feel close to the ground. It helps you to connect to your breath. So the best way to move into this shape is to place your big toes together. Your knees might be hanging off the mat a little bit or just wide. No need to completely follow every single cue. And you're just going to shift your hips back so that they're placed on top of your heels. And you're going to slowly move your hands towards the front of the mat. And as you're able, just slowly drop your head to the earth, forehead to the earth. Go ahead and stay here for a second. And if you would like, go ahead and start to notice your breath. Notice the expansion that happens as you focus more on breathing into your back. Feel the expansion, if you'd like, of your shoulder blades, of your your back ribs. So just stay here for a couple breaths, or as long as it feels comfortable to you. So when you've had enough, we're going to move into what is called tabletop. So you want to check in just in terms of the good, healthy anatomy of your body. Check in and make sure that your wrists are below your shoulders and that you're evenly distributing the weight between both hands. And then checking in to make sure that your knees are below your hips and that your calves are parallel to one another. So simultaneously, you want to press through the tops of your feet and push through the earth. Head is kind of straight. You're not dangling it down too much and you're not shifting up. But in neutral spine, we're just going to imagine a line running through our head all the way through to the back of our hips. So here we're going to slowly move into cow, and we're going to drop our belly button down gently, slowly, making some arch in our back and slowly looking up towards the sky. You don't want to shove your head back, but just slowly draw a line with your vision, maybe from the mat all the way up to about mid-wall. So not all the way up to the ceiling. And then on an exhale or an inhale, this is up to you, you're going to slowly pull the belly button up towards the back and begin to arch your back, imagining that you're making a C shape from your hands all the way through to your knees. The shape of the C might be skinny, it might be really big. All of our shapes are unique to us. And then when you've had enough there, go ahead and begin to move into cow again, dropping the belly button and slowly drawing a gaze, a vision through to mid-ceiling or mid-wall. And you're more than welcome to start to move at your own pace through tabletop. I also encourage you to notice how you can continue to push through your hands, press through the tops of your feet, and just notice maybe the tension, and stay here for a second, the tension versus the relaxation as you move through each shape. Maybe it feels different each time you revisit cow or cat as you learn to loosen and release some of the tension that you have going on. So let's keep moving through that a little bit. One more time. So cow. And when you're done, go ahead and meet me back at neutral spine. We're going to do what's called thread the needle. So place your left hand kind of in the middle, maybe right underneath your heart space. You're going to press through your left hand and you're going to begin to draw a line with your right arm up towards the sky. It's not going to go all the way to the sky, maybe 3/4 of the way, maybe halfway. But you want to imagine that you're opening up your chest. And then you're going to slowly thread your needle under your left hand and place your shoulder and your ear on the mat. Also checking in with your hips, making sure that they're staying square and they're not leaning towards the left area of the mat. And you're going to stay in this shape for just a couple breaths. You can choose to keep your arm out towards the front of the mat. You can also fold it behind your back. And when you're done, go ahead and place your arm back underneath your ear, placing it back in the center. And then we're going to open our heart back up, reaching towards the sky, and placing our hands back right underneath our shoulders for a neutral spine. If you feel any crunchy, crinkly stuff, go ahead and just move through a couple of cat-cows just to release any tension that might have built up during that shape. And before we move into the other side, I just want you to notice again, if you'd like, how this shape feels on your left side as opposed to your right side, not assigning any judgment or feeling, but just simply noticing. So placing the right hand right beneath the heart space, opening up with the left arm, shining it towards the sky, and then threading the needle right under your right arm, and placing the arm up, keeping hips squared. Some nice deep breaths. One more breath together. Inhale and exhale. And then coming back up, placing the right hand underneath the shoulder to open up through the left heart space. And coming back down to neutral spine. Again, coming into any kind of cat-cow, maybe it would be helpful to look towards your right hip, maybe shift towards your left. The next thing we're going to move through is something really cute called puppy pose. Puppy pose is similar to downward facing dog, if you're familiar with that shape. And puppy is also similar to, it's kind of like a in between a child's pose and down dog. So continuing to keep your knees right under your hips, we're going to shift our hips back just a little bit. And instead of coming fully down towards our heels, we're going to keep our hips lifted up, but we're going to slowly pull our arms, kind of grabbing the front of the mat and allowing our head to come towards the mat and stretching out the shoulders. While you stay here, I'll just cue you a little bit. Imagine that you're pressing into the mat with the tops of your feet, pressing down as hard as you can, while simultaneously keeping yourself pulled towards the top of the mat. This is kind of a little bit of a balancing act, which can be a nice little exercise for our brain to notice what's going on outside of our body. And when you have had enough in this shape, the next thing we're going to do is come back to our good solid tabletop neutral spine. Maybe move through a couple cat-cows if you'd like, again, completely optional. Maybe you feel like you need to move into child's pose for a couple seconds, remembering that you're going to bring your big toes together, moving the knees towards the outside of the mat, shifting the hips down, and letting yourself fall towards the mat. Feel free to pause the video here and continue in child's pose. We're going to move into a low lunge. So from tabletop, with our right foot moving out towards the wall, towards where my desk sits, you're going to press into the top of the foot, pressing out, maybe imagining that you're pressing the wall away from you. And we're going to bring it in, so you're going to bend the knee. A couple of options here is to just swing the leg around in front of you. Or you also have the option of pulling the knee in and then sliding it through. So a couple of modifications, and again, find what feels good with your body today. Some days I can pull it through, some days I got to shimmy it around. So you may feel a couple of stretches in different parts of your body that we haven't focused on yet. You might feel some stretch in your hip. You might feel a different stretch in your quad. Again, all of our bodies are shaped differently, are made differently, so it's not going to be consistent in every body. Your shape is unique to you. So continue to breathe. You might even imagine that you're kind of resting on top of your leg, but not allowing yourself to just drop down completely on your leg, but allowing yourself to support yourself with your hands. You might find that your palms are flat on the ground, or you might need to just use a couple of your fingertips to keep you up. When you're all done, you'll just find whatever is best to move your leg back into that tabletop shape to begin to flow to the other side. So when you're ready, go ahead and meet me in low lunge with our left foot forward. You might need to adjust your back leg, completely fine. Maybe you're feeling a bit of heat now. Since you began, you're just warming up your body, which is a good thing. Maybe you notice your heart rate is just starting to increase a little bit. Without looking, I want you to lift up the right leg and then slowly drop it. This is called exteroception, so just noticing how things move without looking, just kind of how your body moves through space. And just using your mind's eye to imagine your leg moving up and down. And when you are all done, go ahead and come up off of the left leg, pulling it back through to move back to our tabletop. The next thing we're going to do is move into, we're going to come straight to our tummy and just allow yourself to slowly fall towards the mat, arms at your side. And just taking a couple of breaths here, orienting yourself to this new space. Maybe just noticing how it feels to lay on your tummy. Maybe the sound is different here. Maybe it smells differently. My mat smells a little funky. And when you're ready, we're going to move into Baby Cobra. So you're going to place your hands right underneath your shoulders and pick your head up and just gaze at your mat. And by using the pressure with your hands, you're just going to press into the floor and slowly draw a line with your eyes all the way up to maybe like a little bit off the ground. This might be where you are today. You might not need to move anymore. But another option is to press even more through your hands to open your chest up off the ground more. On an inhale and on an exhale, moving back down to the earth, gently placing your cheek back on the mat. And a thing that might help is to press into the feet as you lift, as you push through your hands. So on the next inhale, together we'll move into Cobra. So this might feel a little funky in your elbows. So you want to engage your core as much as you can to keep some of the pressure off your elbows and off your palms. But you don't want to squeeze too much through your low back either. And this is where the breath comes in. So as you inhale, it's nice to just kind of incorporate all those movements together and then exhale. Let's do one more time. So inhale, pressing through your hands, pushing through the tops of your feet. And exhale. And then together we'll meet in child's pose. Allowing yourself to stretch out as much as you need to. Maybe even pulling your fingertips towards the front of the mat to give your back a nice stretch. If this feels a little uncomfortable, you also can choose to keep your knees together. Hug them together as you move your hands out in front of you. And another modification is to just simply keep your arms right next to your legs and have your forehead pressing into the ground. You're more than welcome to stay here for more breathing. Feel free to continue some more tabletop cat-cows. But thank you so much for joining me today for my very first, probably kind of janky video. I'm super excited to be able to offer this to some of my clients so that yoga might feel a little more accessible to them. So they don't have to go to a studio, get in any fancy yoga clothes. They can just stay in their pajamas, workout shorts, whatever, and do it right from your computer or your phone. Thanks for showing up today, showing up for yourself, trying something new, and I hope that this video was helpful in some way. Namaste.